Look where I landed. Oh, that was loose. Oh man. Oh. Oh. Stop. Steady, don't move. Hey everybody, welcome to a new video. This is what the least snowy part of town looks like right now. So while I wait for the winter storm to pass, I'm gonna show you a compilation of my biggest crashes and closest calls from the last year. Because I rode my bike every single day in 2023, the probability of crashing went way up. And yeah, it was a pretty intense year. I got really lucky because even with the hardest falls, I was still able to be healthy enough to ride the next day. Believe it or not, I actually did not have the camera rolling for every single crash. And it's funny, I had a few really heavy crashes that were just dumb because I was chilling, not really paying attention, and fell or slid out on something pretty hard. And I feel like when we're not scared of what we're doing, that's when our biggest mistakes can happen. So that's something to keep in mind. The first big scare I had all year was on Nato at the very bottom. This was in March last year, and I was testing out the final speed gap on the trail that I built. This is a weird gap because it's very long, very low and fast, and you have to transfer your weight in the air. The landing is narrow and there's a tree really tight on the run out. I went a little fast on my first hit and almost went straight to the tree on the rider's left. Okay, drop. To the left. Oh my God, that was deep. I thought I was going slow. I was like, oh, this isn't bad. Look where I landed. Oh. Safety third.
Live again.
That's so fun. This next one didn't result in a crash or anything. It actually resulted in a really good save, but it might be the most scared I was all year because the consequences of this going wrong are absolutely insane. This is a gnarly natural raw rock slab line in Sedona, down in Arizona. I was there for the Sedona Bike Fest last year, and it was snowing when we were there. The snow was finally melting, and these rocks were soaking wet and had really slippery sections to them. And I got stuck in this wet crevice, lost control of my steering on the front end, and almost went straight down into like a rocky canyon, and that would have been catastrophic, but I held it together. This one was scary. Really got the heart beating. Oh, that was loose. Oh man, gnarly in the wet. Fast forwarding to the next close call. This was in May when I had my first chance to test out the mega step up since the rebuild. Back at the end of 2022, my buddy Eric Lornock had an insane overshoot on the mega step up. And I've been used to riding it, but I do grab a lot of brake on it, so I decided I need to make this harder to clear with more air time and more of a landing zone. So I stacked the landing way bigger, spent like days and days just stacking this landing up, scooped out the lip more, and it resulted in a sketchier jump. I actually found like I got shot in the air way worse, and the first test day was so sketchy. I was all over the place, I wasn't feeling good on the bike, and I had one really close call, one really lucky crash slide out on my very first attempt. All right. Oh!
Jeez. At least I had time to know I was coming up short. That was like way crazier than I thought it'd be. Way fast, more speed than I thought I'd need.
Did you land right into the face of it?
Oh, right into the back, so like a landing. It's so much taller now. Like, that would have been like a slight case before. Yeah, I gotta go a lot faster. Lost the front brake on that one. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what happened here. Yeah, fully ripped out, look at that.
Gosh,
Well, maybe having one brake is just a sign I need to go faster. So let's give it another go and see where we end up. Whoa.
Yeah! And then I figured it out. I had a few smooth runs through, but I still felt pretty sketchy. And then I had to end the day off with another crash that was way heavier. It was a pretty awkward fall.
Oh! Okay, so another cable wrapper here. And a bit of a arm scraper too. But yeah, I hit the run in faster from the top. I tried a little different approach that time. I wanted to be more aggressive off the top, then more brake at the bottom of the compression, and just went a little too slow, and I might have been able to ride that out with a really heavy case, but I just felt like jumping off the bike because I didn't want to deal with that. But that might have been worse. I don't know. It's a tough one to judge right now. I've never had that happen really to me where I get the jump and kind of mess it up afterwards. So yeah, and just not my day today. Who knows? Rough one.
I was feeling pretty beat up after that day. This next clip is a quick, raw, natural line. This is a trail called Screaming Goat that's pretty gnarly because it's bench cut and rocky and rough. And then you have a twisty, windy, steep run out. Well, I opened up a line from the very top where you basically huck off a boulder to flat and then come straight into it from a steeper side. And there's a tree on the rider's right near the bottom that you kind of pop off beside. And I was literally inches away, or probably less than an inch away from clipping it with my handlebar at full speed in a section of trail where you cannot control your steering. And if I hit that tree there, that would have been so brutal. I'm so lucky I missed it. It might be hard to tell in this POV, but this was a really close call.
woohoo, that tree was tight.
In June, we did the shoot for the SR Sun Tour 38 special video. And this shoot was a lot of fun because it was very dirt jump heavy. And when you have a crash on a dirt jump, when you're trying to trick, it is just part of the process of learning or dialing in what you're doing. It's a really common thing just to bail and ditch your bike. But when you get to the more raw, natural lines, that's when things can get pretty sketchy and dangerous. And this one was pretty wild because it was a canyon gap that was also a transfer, and it had a really snipe, soft landing with trees right after. This was the maybe third or fourth time I hit it. I was sessioning it all day, and I went a little deep and sunk in my front wheel straight into the trees.
Drop it. Oh! That was lucky.
Yeah, it's deep.
The jump felt perfect, then the run out got me.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's money, and then right over the bars.
That was a super lucky close call. I was completely fine, didn't even get hurt at all. And then I went back and had to get redemption before it was dark because I couldn't end the day on that.
Woo!
July was the Tour de Nord, possibly the scariest day of the year, but I was riding so good that morning. I felt so dialed until I got to the Ganga Gap, the famous gap that you've probably seen Remy Metallier hit 1,000 times and Johan Borelli and that crew. It is a very technical line, and if you don't take your time with it and stay strategic, it can be very dangerous. And that's exactly what happened to me. I rushed my way through it, went way too fast, and it took me out. I I tried to transfer it a little deeper than how other people were hitting it and add a bit of flair to it, and it bit me. It was a heavy one.
Stop. Steady, don't move.
Yeah. That was like the second on the air. I'm like, I'm way too outside on this. Oh yeah, thanks.
Right. Can you follow my finger for me?
Yeah.
Oh, just with your eyes? Keep your head still. Sorry. Keep focusing on it.
I remember being so sore the next day that I couldn't actually pedal uphill. So I went on an e-bike ride and ended up going down some gnarly rock slabs the next day. So there was definitely no chill moment that week. The next crash I had was only 2 weeks later. I was supposed to go to Sun Peaks, but we were dealing with really gnarly wildfires, and I got detoured, turned around, went back to the island, and decided to go to Victoria because it was Geordie Lund's birthday and friends and family were having a little celebration. So I went to Victoria and I went to Chainsaw, which is actually a trail Geordie built, I want to say back in 2016 or 17. It had a fresh rebuild, the jumps were running sick, and I had a really close call where I bunny hopped off the road into a rock face and had to counter steer to not completely bail at full speed. It was a gnarly close call. And sometimes I feel like the universe plays tricks on us. I ended up staying in Victoria for a few extra days after that because I wanted to just have a fun week away from home. I had this big trip to Sun Peaks planned and I had to cancel everything because of the wildfires. So I was hanging out in Victoria, went to the Geordie Lund Bike Park, and I'd up this natural gap pre-hop line you can do. It's pretty gnarly, but it was also very dry and dusty, and I hit it. I had more than enough speed, landed deep, landed a little too outside, washed out because I missed the berm. I high-sided the berm, and ooh, that was bad. I hit my head pretty hard, destroyed my brand new, freshly painted helmet, and yeah, I was on the ground for a while. That one was rough, and that was my hardest crash of the year.
Oh shit.
The next day I was so sore, my whole right side was just bruised, and my ride the next day was literally just cruising around this mellow bike park in the city. Did a wall ride, went home, and went back to just chilling the rest of the day. And those are my biggest crashes and my closest calls from the last year. I hope you guys enjoyed that and the backstory behind each one. Yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. I'm going back into full trail building mode as soon as all the snow is gone. Thanks again, guys. See you in the next video. Peace out.